Okay, so from the diagram and the way they set this problem up, we know to get started on this problem that we need the side-splitter theorem, which tells us that when we have parallel lines, and in this case we're told GK is parallel to HJ, so here's GK, right? And I think with with this much information, you might want to label your diagram as you go. GK and HJ are parallel, right? So you have this intersecting line here, GK, that's parallel to one of the sides, and that is an opportunity to use the side splitter theorem, which in this case would say that FH, right, this whole side over here, and it depends what they give you here, but over GH would be the same as FJ on the other side over KJ, right? So we're going to use that proportion because here they give us all these values. FH equals x plus 5. So for our proportion over here, we have x plus 5. That is FH. And that's over what? GH, which is 3. Okay, so we have GH here. That's going to equal FJ, which they don't give us directly, but we know FK is 2x plus 4, and we know that KJ is x, so add them together, and that's 3x plus 4 over, I'm going to label that as FJ, so they might not give it to you directly, but you can just add sides, over KJ, which is x. So here, let's solve for x in this proportion. What I would do is multiply both sides by 3 and then by x, right? So here, if I multiply both sides by 3, let me just kind of transplant this out of here so we have room now. And there are two things we're trying to do in this question. We're trying to solve for x and y, and then we're going to apply it to find the perimeter of the triangle. Okay, so here, multiply both sides by 3, okay? And what's going to happen, on the left-hand side, the 3's cancel out, so we just have, I'll write an arrow over here so we know that we're moving on to the next step this way. So we have x plus 5 equals, I'll distribute it, 9x plus 12 over x. Okay, well, here, multiply both sides by x, right? And we get x times x plus 5 on the left, and on the right, 9x plus 12. Okay, so we distribute our x here, we get x squared plus 5 times x equals 9x plus 12. Okay, so I'm going to subtract the 12 and subtract the 9x. Hopefully we can deal with this quadratic here, right? The second power is the quadratic. Okay, these all cancel. We get 0 on the right-hand side. Here we're going to get x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay, so now we define factors, because this equals 0, of negative 12 that add up to negative 4. So I would use negative 6 and positive 2. Multiply those two numbers and we get negative 12, add them, we get negative 4. Okay, so that means x could be, so in one case we have x minus 6 equals 0, and x equals 6. In the other case we have x plus 2 equals 0, and x could equal negative 2. Mathematically these might both work, but here, since we're dealing with the lengths of sides, I'm going to use 6, not negative 2. We can have a negative side length. So we found the value of x. X is 6, right? So I'll label that. And they want us to find y. Well, they tell us that GK is 10 over here. Alright, so what we should do then, is find each side of each triangle, or as far as we can, and then compare these corresponding sides. So GK is 10. 2x plus 4, well, if x is 6, right, which we just said here, it's 2 times 6, which is 12, plus 4 is 16. Okay, and that gives me enough because here I'm going from 16, right, to the larger triangle here, which is 22, right? So that's our ratio. We have 16 to 22, and I'm given 10 over here, so its corresponding side I want to know, which is HJ. I'm going to write X, but that'd be confusing, so we just solve for X. Okay, so we want to find HJ. So we just solve this proportion. And here, I'm going to rewrite it. It's just, I like to write my proportions like this. 16 over 22 equals 10 over HJ, right? So it is longer, I messed it up. So because here it's, 16 to 22 is the shorter side to the longer side. So here, oh, that's okay, 10 to HJ is shorter side to longer side. Okay, phew. So I'm going to reduce 16 over 22 before I multiply. Divide by 2, we get 8. 16 by 2, divide 22 by 2, we get 11. And this equals 10 over HJ. To solve this one, we're going to multiply both sides by HJ. Cancel out. And then we have HJ times 8/11ths. But I want to know what HJ is. So I multiply both sides by 11/8ths, right? So we have 11/8ths times 8/11ths HJ on the left. That'll cancel out, right? And over here on the right, multiply 10 by, right, 11 over 8. So here, before I even multiply, I'm going to reduce 10 over 8 to 5 over 4. Makes it more manageable for me, so we have 55 fourths. And that equals the length of HJ, which is Y. So here, they want us to find Y. Well, that equals 55 over 4. Okay. So now what? Find the perimeter of triangle HJF. Okay, well, here, right, even no matter how this is set up, I think it's important to determine what all the lengths are that you're working with. FH is x plus 5 or 11, right? And FH is this entire length right here. Don't be alarmed by that. If the whole thing's 11, you're thinking, oh, that can't be right. Maybe it's just the way the diagram's set up, because GH we know is 3. So here, if you want to know what FG is, FG, you should take FH, the whole length, which is 6 plus 5, right, or 11, minus 3, and you get 8. So the perimeter then is just the sum of these numbers. 8 and 3 is 11, plus 16 is 27, right? Plus 6 is 33, and then plus 55 fourths. So I might write it this way. You have 33 plus 55 over 4. 4 goes into 55 times, right? How many times? Well, at least 13 times. So it's 33 plus 13 and what? Well, 4 times 13 is 52 with a remainder of 3, so 3 fourths. Add this up and we get 33 plus 13, which is 46, and 3 fourths for our perimeter. Alright, hope this helped.